Hello, hello. Glad you're with me today. I'm Mary Bowser, and I'm with Lifetime Wellness Associates, but I've been a Deacon Wellness consultant for 20 years now. And one of the most fantastic things that our company does is produce natural energy technologies that help our bodies deal with everyday life or past issues with natural energy. So, what is it today that we're going to talk about? Well, I'm expecting a guest, so we'll see when Vance shows up. Yay, there he is. Vance here. And Vance Rogers, you've been in the company a lot longer than I have, but I'm so glad that you're with me to talk about our newest technology. And that today is the PiDrogen water. Let me hold the bottle correctly. And um, about hydrogen water, just specifically itself, I'll wait till you get settled down a little bit. I'm going to play a quick little PowerPoint just in case some people haven't heard about what hydrogen or hydrogen water is. And this is the PiMag hydrogen generator. So it's a load of big mouthful of things to say. But what I'm going to do is give this to, here we go. Let me play the PiMag generator is something that everyone needs. And it's simply because it supplies an abundance of antioxidants to relieve oxidative stress in the body. Now, I'm not a medical person and I don't claim to be, but I'm very good at reading what other people have told me on the slides. And this comes from the company itself. So when they say that hydrogen water helps bring the body back into balance and support overall active wellness, I'm saying, okay, tell me about that. How does it do that? Or what does it do in this little magic bottle? Well, it transforms alkaline PiMag water, which we already have from our Nikan PiMag Sport bottle or the PiMag Waterfall or any pure water source. It transforms that into a source of concentrated dissolved hydrogen water. So what does that mean? Well, first you fill the hydrogen bottle with PiMag water and you attach the little generator. And it comes with a little really pretty silver generator. And then you connect the micro cable from the generator to a power supply. And this is really cool because it operates with a USB power cord. So it can be powered up from your smartphone, from your computer, or from a source directly into the wall with an adapter. It automatically starts going, and I'll show you in a minute. We'll show the little video. Molecular hydrogen is added to the water by a process of hydrolysis, and 800 to 1200 parts per billion. It takes only 6 minutes to complete a full cycle for a wonderful 16 ounces. So what I'm going to do is show you how that happens. This is my hydrogen generator. I've plugged it in. I have a wall adapter, and you can see, I'm going to play it again. You can see the little bubbles that go up from the generator as it's going on. And the water, you can see, nice and clear. You also see the blue light at the bottom, and that shows that it's in the cycle. Now, when it's finished with the cycle, that blue light turns red and stays on for about 30 seconds and then goes off. You can then detach the generator, and there's a little cap you can put on the generator, keep that nice for the next time. And then the water bottle itself has a cap, so you can put the cap back on and you can carry it with you. So I'm going to go back to the slides. And electrolyzed, why is this different? Well, When you take water and electrolyze it with this special power control software that's inside this little um, generator, it controls the power and voltage. And generators without this technology can't generate hydrogen-rich water continuously for each cycle. As I said, a cycle goes about 6 minutes. It comes with a 16 fluid ounce or 475 milliliter glass bottle you can drink directly from if you want, but I found it's really good to take the water from there and pour it over into a cup and drink just what I need and save the rest and keep it in the bottle so that it's keeping its potency. The glass helps the hydrogen water retain the potency for 24 hours, far longer than other plastic, and helps minimize carbon footprint. Other hydrogen generators last about 6 months, but I can tell you this PiDrogen is going to last 2 to 3 years, depending on usage. And we do need to take care of it. It is glass, but it will last. So Vance, that's a quick run through of all of those things. I'm going to remove that. So now we can talk. You've gotten settled down. Tell me about some of your experiences with the PiMag PiDrogen water.
Well, as a father, let me just, can I put on that hat? Because
Oh,
Mary,
sure.
you're a mom.
Yeah.
And first of all, I apologize, but I'm looking at the title, Professionals. What's the rest of this thing called? Professionals something. And I've always referred to myself as a business boy. You know, I'm 53 years young, and I keep telling people one of these days I'm going to figure out how to do what I do. But until then, I'm just going to have fun, you know. And as a father, when Nikan introduced this and they started talking about it, I'm going, I got to learn this, because if I can learn how to share it with my youngest, then she can share it with her older two sisters, and then I don't have to. So it's really simple. So for over a week, her and I have been experimenting and learning about hydrogen water. I mean, what is hydrogen water? And well, Nikan was so nice of them to put together this little book, and I have mine right here amongst my pile of stuff. Yeah, and it's all right there. It's
Yep.
like an IKEA. When you buy furniture from IKEA, it comes with those little books, and it says some assembly required. And I'm going, they're lying. That's like on Christmas morning when your kid opens a toy and it says some assembly required. They're lying.
So your
You
daughter hasn't had any problem explaining this.
know. But what we figured out was, as she discovered, hey, Daddy, your water maker thing, your blue bubbly, thing, it's peeing on the counter again. And I'm just going, oh my gosh. So
Oh,
we figured it out. That was today's discovery. How to
okay.
screw on the lid, not too tight, but just tight enough. And again, I want to just keep reminding folks there's a learning curve with anything. When if we all saw the movie Back to the Future with the flux capacitor on how to time travel, with
Hmm.
Michael J. Fox, and this stuff is really high tech.
Right. Now
But
there are two lids. There's two lids. There's an adapter and then there's the generator. So what one are you talking about?
we use both.
Okay.
Okay. What we've found is some bottles, and I went through and experimented with as many bottles as we could find. And I realized that I should be doing it this way, right? Is that better?
That's better.
That's better. Okay. I'm sorry. I should have
That's
done
right.
that earlier. Um, there we go. Um, what we found is that when we use the bottle that comes with the product, the adapter goes on first,
Right.
and then we put the flux capacitor. And I know it's not called a flux capacitor, but that's what I call it. That's what produces the hydrogen.
So we
That's
put
what.
the adapter goes on first
Mhm.
and then this.
Yep. And then you go to any USB port. It
Hmm.
could be in your car. I don't live in my truck, but as some of you just saw, I spent a fair amount of time and I was running from one gig to the next. And we can use any USB port, so it's totally portable. I found another unit just as a contrast and compare. I found another unit. I didn't research it, but I looked it up. $1,150, and I went, well, it must be a great unit. Okay. I found another website that you don't have to even make the water with your own water. We all use PiMag water. You could put pond scum water in this. I wouldn't recommend that, but you
Yeah.
can. That's gross. But you can use your own tap water in this. I wouldn't recommend that either. There's a lot of chemicals in tap water, chlorine, fluoride, all that stuff. I wouldn't do that. That's just my personal take. I would invest in a good, as the Aaron Brockovich Foundation recommends, a really good water filtration system. You can buy them from Niken, but the
Hmm.
Aaron Brockovich Foundation on their website states a good home gravity fed system should run you about $350, $400.
Hmm.
That's it. So Niken has the solution. So you buy the waterfall, you invest in the PiDrogen, and you make it in your own home. Another website I found charges $3.50 a serving for foil packets. If you buy more, it's cheaper, but it's a foil packet. So that's not environmentally friendly. So I'm like, okay, that's out. And
Right.
this is what I
Right.
do. This is what I do as a consumer. Okay, I've
We have to check
discovered,
it out.
yeah, you check it out. But that's what Niken's motto is, right?
Right.
Discover it, live it, share it.
Right. So when I'm tasting this, it seems to be smoother.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, I put it in my protein shake, and wow, it really made a smoothie. And
Okay.
I didn't have to use any kind of a blender. It really made it wonderfully smooth.
And so here's a little bit of positive confession. And my father and my dear friend Rita Hand, who I was on the phone with, she's in New Hampshire. She said, Vance, this really isn't an addiction. You should stop telling people you have addictions. But I do. I have one. I have a couple. One is copious amounts of water, especially this stuff. And when you mix hydrogen water with your favorite beverage of choice, mine's
Hmm.
coffee, and I only do one 12 to 14 ounce cup of coffee a day. That's it. That's all my family lets me have because they don't like me when I have too much. Okay. My point is, when I get more coffee, I get a little bit more of me, and more of me is too much.
Right. Right.
So what Jeannie Zedin said to me this morning, and Jeannie is a professional pitch person. She does things like
Hmm.
for QVC, Home Shopping Club. That's what her and her husband do.
Right.
And she sent me a text this morning and she said, Vance, I just used the hydrogen water in my French press. Ooh la la.
Yes. It
So,
just takes whatever you're doing and makes it like so much better,
yeah,
so much smoother,
yeah.
better flavor.
And I think we use primarily organic beans because
Hmm.
I never drank
Right.
coffee until 12 years ago when we went to Ethiopia for the first time and brought our youngest daughter home. And it was like a whole new world opened up for me. And,
Absolutely.
and I went, oh my goodness, this is why people drink coffee. And when it's organic and when it's slow, the way they processed it. So that's what we try to find. And yeah, we spend a little bit more on real good beans, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of research studies that have been going on in the past 10 years about hydrogen water. And you mentioned some of the things that they've been trying. You know, you can get your own water and drop in a tablet and it fizzes and does its thing. And then you've got that trash, as you mentioned. You can also buy bottles of water, plastic or, there's
Foil,
bottles
the
out
foil
there.
packets,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you can buy the whole bottle and it costs anywhere between $1.50, $2, $3 for a bottle. And then you've got that trash. So one of the things you've mentioned is, wow, Nikon's taking care of that because we've got a bottle that's recyclable. You could use other glass bottles other than this one, and you can generate this in your own home. So you're not having to travel a lot. You're not having to go out and buy stuff and cart stuff home and then worry about taking care of the trash. And then you can use it for all sorts of things. But have you heard any of the kinds of effects that people have had after drinking this or using hydrogen water for a while?
That's the real fun part, because I think with anything, you know, people, the phrase, how do they say it? Facts tell, stories sell.
Mhm.
And I remember hearing that from a friend of ours, Herb Schoenfeld. He owned Schoenfeld Furniture, and it's in Tacoma. That furniture store is no longer in business because he sold it. But that furniture store in Tacoma, Washington, started when Abraham Lincoln was president. Okay, so it's been around a while. Okay,
That's right.
huge store. But he's the one that taught me that, and he said, you know, people come in to buy furniture, and we can present all these facts and say it's made out of this fabric, you know, blah blah blah. But he said when I encourage them to sit down on the couch, or when I
Mhm.
encourage them to lay down on the bed, then they we create a story. Or I say, you know, my wife bought this couch because she really, you know, when I start sharing the story, then
Right.
things change.
Absolutely.
What we've heard in what, a week and a half, and we're still in the Niken's motto is quite simple. Niken, discover it, live it, share it. So we're in the discover it, live it stage right now, is the way I describe it, and we're getting into the share it stage. Some people have already like fast forwarded, you know, because they're drinking so much of this, and they're making
Mhm.
phone calls, they're sending texts, and their friends are saying, well, I already have the waterfall, or I've got the other unit, the one you guys had years ago,
Yep.
and I want this. And it's that simple, because I'm
Yep.
using a smartphone, an iPhone, whatever it is. I could go back to a flip phone, but then I couldn't do this, right?
Well, well, I can tell you it's just a simple story. This weekend, I had to be on a Zoom from 8 o'clock in the morning until 11:30 at night. And I kept one of these right next to me. I didn't take coffee. I had drinks from this throughout the day. And I can tell you at 11:39 at night, when I finally clicked off the computer, I was still going. I was
Yeah,
alert. I wasn't jittery. You know, you get that jittery feeling from too much coffee. I wasn't jittery. I was alert and taking notes. And, you know, I didn't have that slump of tiredness that you usually get.
right.
So I can say, you know, it's pretty amazing stuff just from what I had yesterday.
So you asked for stories. Let me share with
Yes.
you
What stories?
one, two, three, four, really quick, rapid fire. Saturday for me, same scenario. I never let I went outside a couple times, but truth be told, I did put a t-shirt on, but I never got out of my pajama bottoms because I didn't need to. And I didn't have to. But I just kept drinking copious amounts of this water. I think I cheated in the afternoon because I could, and had some coffee with some Christmas holiday treats that the girls were making. But all day long, Zooms, FaceTimes, conference calls, all day long. And I just what was it, 11:30 at night? I thought, when is this going to wear off? I've been going since 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm by the way, I wear multiple hats, and I could show you that I grabbed them out of my truck, but I won't.
That's okay.
But but it's, you know, one of them is and I think I mentioned this the last time I got to be guest. One of them looks like this. Oops, get it right over here. And it is what it says. I'm a first volunteer first responder, and we had one in the middle of the day, and I ran out on that. But some of the other stories that I heard on Saturday from these different people that I called, absorption. And
Mhm.
I don't know how else to say it, but if you can put fluids in and they absorb in your body, then they don't have to pass out.
That's
So
right.
my point is that if your body can absorb
Mhm.
half your body weight in ounces or more, then the body's going to utilize that.
And be
That
hydrated. Right.
and be hydrated.
Right.
That was my experience.
Mm-hmm.
No dryness of the mouth
Nope.
from talking. That's huge.
Mm-mm.
The other one was from my friend Rita, and Saturday was her third day of using the product. And she said, and this is, and I quote, I talked to her again this morning, and now she's at day 5. Okay. She said, since I had my accident and I slipped on the ice, her body's going to require surgery to correct what the slipping on the ice messed up. Double hip
Right.
surgery. That's how bad
Mm.
it is. She said, I have now slept 6 hours each night, unlike I've been sleeping in the last 4 years since the accident.
Wow.
Whole Nikan Wellness Home. There's
Wow.
nothing else she can do. And that's her story, and she's
Mm-hmm.
sticking with it. My friend Jeannie, who she's high energy like I am. She loves coffee, and she's the one that sent me that text this morning. She's going to drink the coffee anyways, but her and I could drink too much. My other friend, Karen in La Crosse, Wisconsin, she wrote me the other day, and she said, Vance, she said in Wisconsin when it gets cold this time of year, she gets terrible sores on in her
Mm-hmm.
nasal
Right.
passage, yeah,
Yeah.
all in here.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I took some of this water, and she said, I put it in a little spritzer bottle, and I just kind of, or if you're going to go hardcore, you can
Right.
snort it. I don't
Right.
recommend that because that hurts. But she said instantly, it's like relief.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she said, I've used all kinds of other nasal things and they don't do anything like this does. And I
Mm-mm.
went,
Mm-mm.
who knew? But
Well,
but but I think the biggest one that I keep hearing from people, and I called my friend Kathy Fujioka in Hawaii, and she said, Vance, I just ordered it. It's on its way. And I can't remember if she said it arrived, but she asked me, what results are you finding? And she said, because we here on the islands where it's warm, 365, water retention and not feeling bloated is the big derivative that we gain from using the PiMag water.
mm-hmm.
And I said, well, Kathy, this is only going to accentuate that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get another element into it. So we're in that discover it, live it stage
Right.
again. And I think that once we get more and more, we're going to go, oh, if we
Well,
can, go ahead.
and no, I think that the more people are using it, the more we're going to hear specifically the kinds of things that are happening. I know that when water goes in and stays in there, when it does come out, it's going to bring out a lot more toxins because it's gotten down at that cellular, that real granular level. So that's what we want. I know the research that they've been doing is showing that there's, for people that have issues that are from dehydration and not having enough water, that first of all, the water is tasting better, it's going down easier, so they're drinking more. That alone is a plus. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's specific things that hydrogen does when it gets into the cells that really affects things like the little mitochondria, the little teeny battery that you have inside your cell, every cell in your body. Well, the little mitochondria just goes crazy. It loves this stuff.
Yep. And
So
I think that's,
that's incredible.
and you mentioned, Mary, the antioxidant, the oxidation process of the
Mm-hmm.
body. We see that in fruit, especially. It's such a simple thing to show people. When you slice an apple in half,
Right.
if it's organic, it'll last longer, but it'll last even longer after it's sliced in half when you spritz it with some of this water.
Absolutely.
Or the I haven't done that experiment yet. I will. I don't need to take pictures of it, and I don't need a double blind study. But if it still stays crisp and it doesn't look all brown and yucky, then I know
Yeah.
I'm getting something on it that's more natural, more out in nature type of thing. And
A lot better than a chemical to make it look like it's
yeah,
supposed to, right?
I just, and I'm not a purist, but I meet people all the time. I'm constantly in this mode of education, and I can see people when they're doing things wrong, that I would consider wrong, excessive drugs, excessive pharmaceuticals. I love the way Dennis Williams taught me years ago. He's the one that introduced our family to Niken. And he said, when I have a headache, that doesn't mean I'm having a deficiency or a shortage of Tylenol. It's just that simple. So the headache is caused by
Exactly.
something, maybe more water, maybe more of this, maybe something. It doesn't need more sugar. No.
That's for sure.
And so again, and I think we're going to see this, but I geeked out a little bit too, Mary, on the research. And I
Hmm.
found three different industries that are using hydrogen. I got an article, I got an email from a friend that I haven't spoken to in, oh my goodness, it seems like years, but he's been studying hydrogen water in the auto industry.
Wow.
And he said, why are they not really ramping up? Well, because we
Mhm.
like fossil fuels.
Right,
I mean,
right. Well, I put in the chat the research study that talks about going beyond the hype of
yep.
hydrogen water, because I think we can hype anything to the point where people lose, like, well, is this really good or is this just a good advertisement? And what you're saying about antioxidants, well, oxidation is like rusting, and the biggest benefit that they found is keeping that from happening. So antioxidation is what we need to do. And guess what? On all of these studies, and I've read two of them very carefully, so I'm at a low end on the research side, but I'm working on that part. But there's one that looks at a whole bunch of studies, and they found that these effects are more significant for people over 30 who are well on their way to rusting and have rusted significantly enough to the point where they're looking for something to bring back that youthfulness. Well,
Yep.
what did they say about who was it that was looking for the fountain of youth? Wouldn't that be interesting? Um, anyway.
Well, and that's if I can just 30 seconds on that. My family business, our grandfather started a company called Columbia Sheet Metal September 9th, 1960. So not as old as, Schoenfeld Furniture, but we've been around a while. And the sheet metal industry, Columbia Sheet Metal, it sheet metal will rust. However, if you put certain layers of protection on it, you paint it with these expensive paints they have, it'll last forever. When we see moss on a roof or gutters that are filled with debris, we say to the people, there's a way to avoid that. You can use zinc. It's a natural chemical. It's found in nature. You can put that on your roof and it'll kill that moss.
Right,
Does anything kill rust? Yeah, but there's ways to prevent it.
right.
You wouldn't drive a plain steel automobile. I mean, you could, but it'll rust really quick, especially if on the eastern or the western seaboard. But if we can do things to slow down that rusting factor,
Hmm.
and I'm in that mode because my parents, they were in their early 50s when they discovered Niken, almost 30 years ago. And so I'm in that same mode going, okay, I'm a little bit older by 3 years than where they were. So what can I do to discover it more, to live it more, to share it more? I'm just kind of
Right.
keep coming back to that same mode. And they're almost 80 now, and they're still moving and grooving and not as fast as they were before. However,
Right. Just keep
they,
doing.
they just keep doing it. So
Hmm.
it makes sense to me.
Well, I can tell you that this little packet, this little sack of joy, along with this bottle, is going to be in several Christmas presents this year.
Yeah. And and
And
don't and don't forget this right here.
oh yes, the book
Some
that comes
some
with it.
some assembly required.
Right. There is, you do have to recalibrate. You have to calibrate this, a little water in here, and 5 to 10 times it calibrates it. And when it dries out, you can do that again.
Mhm.
Um, really simple to do. So, yeah, directions and probably demonstration or two. That would be great. Um,
Demonstration.
Yes, yes, always. Well, I have a daughter that has digestive issues, and
Mm.
I made her drink a shot of this. She stopped by the house, and I said, "Okay, here we go." And she was like, "Wow, Mom." That feels good all the way down. I said, okay.
That now you're on to something all the way
Yeah,
down. That's the
all the
key.
way down.
Yeah.
And she couldn't say that for very much else. So it feels good all the way down. Well,
Mm.
Vance, it's been wonderful to talk to you. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your day. Um, again, Vance Rogers, and your business is Wellness Beyond Belief.
That's it.
And Mary Bowser with Lifetime Wellness Associates. We love Niken, and we are discovering, living, and sharing it. Thanks, Vance.
Thank you, Mary.